Welcome to Tarot 101. Hi, I'm Megan, and I am the reader here at Magical Reawakening. Now, I am starting to teach my Embodying the Tarot course, and I'm so excited. I'm doing it on Patreon, and I'm going slowly through each one of the cards, one card a week. And it'll be there for fantastic ways of learning how to embody the tarot. And by embody, I mean really try to see how your life is reflected in the tarot itself. And so I'm going to be doing that. It's going to include basics on what symbols and the card meaning is, and then talk a little bit about how that is part of your life, how you can see that in your day to day, and then also include a meditation so that if you want to sit with the energy of the card and the symbols on the card and really feel that in yourself, you'll be able to go back to those meditations. So I'm really excited about all of that. I realized it might be nice to do a little intro to tarot video before I dive into all of that. So that's what I'm here doing. Now, I'm Megan. I've been reading tarot since 2015, and I really started it as a way to help myself get clearer messages from my meditations. That's where I started. I would sit and meditate, and then I'd do automatic writing afterwards. And it always felt like there was still such a jumble of information, and I overthought essentially the writing out of what was coming out. And so I started to look into tarot and pulling a card for myself after my meditation to give myself some directions, right? To really point myself in an area so that I could start and have a better way to get that automatic writing out because it would give me a clear starting point to go from. So that's how I started. And that's why I really think that tarot for me is really tied to myself and my own knowledge of what's from within and the embodiment of what tarot is for me. Over time, I started feeling more intuitive when it came to tarot and really picking up other things. But I started with me. It all started with my own internal messages. And I find that really important and really key for myself and for anyone who's having trouble tapping into their intuition. Tarot is fantastic for it. Now, a little bit of summary of what is tarot so that you know just kind of where to start. For me, tarot is a mirror. Like I said, it gives me another way of looking at messages that come from within in a way that is clearer. It gives it a directionality, right? I've had people sit down for a reading from me and just be unsure, like, oh, is this against my religion? Is this something that's going to be spooky? Is this something, that I'm feeling nervous about it? It has no religion. It doesn't even have to be an intuitive practice if you don't want it to be. If you're feeling called to just pull cards and see what comes up, the messages come from you and your own trust in yourself, right? It's 78 cards. There are a set of major arcana cards, and those are our cards that are kind of our big picture, the path you're taking overall, overarching in your life. And then we've got our minor arcana. Now, minor arcana is broken into 4 different suits. Each suit goes from ace, which is 1, through 10, and then has 4 court cards. And so our minor arcana tend to be more of our day-to-day interactions, smaller focuses. And then when it comes to our court cards, I really see those as what is our position in this situation. So we've got learners, we've got communicators, we've got nurturers, and we have structure providers, I guess you could say. And so our minor arcana kind of give us an idea of where we are today, what's going on today, and how are we showing up for that. So that's where those come in. In our suits, the suits are broken down. We've got very similar to our playing cards, like when you pull a deck of cards, that's how tarot originated. We've got our hearts and heart spades, clubs, and diamonds in a regular deck of playing cards, right? In tarot, we have cups, swords, coins, and wands. Now, our cups are tied to the heart, they're tied to emotions. Our swords are tied to thoughts and words, air. Uh, Cups are water. Wands are connected to fire. There's our creativity and our passion. And then coins are connected to the earth. There are tangible things or resources in life. And often lately, that's been kind of translated as money as well. Because when it comes to resourcing ourselves in this day and age, cash is king, right? So we need money when we think of resources, but also there's this idea of like, what can you create? What can you build around you? Whereas wands with the fire creative passion is like that desire versus the earth. We actually grow things out of the earth when it comes to pentacles. So that's our basics. And then whenever you pick up a deck, every deck has a, a booklet with it. And so you can just start there. You can pick up a deck, pull a card, and read the booklet and get fantastic information right there. Another thing that I like to do when I started, and I still do it sometimes now, is that I pull a card and then I actually look at a couple different locations of what information they have. So I use the booklet from the deck, but then also sometimes I'll go to one of my favorite websites for tarot and see what that message is, what they recommend. And from there, I actually find what resonates the most out of those meanings. And it's really helpful. And I really love doing that. And then the other thing when it comes to really starting with your tarot journey, if that's what you are wanting to do, is actually writing things down. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. It can be in your notes app, it can be in a blank notebook. You could go out and get a tarot journal, however you want to do it. Overthinking things tends to lead us to dismissing what's going on, or choosing not to think enough on it. Just going, oh, I know what that meaning that card is, right? And we just dismiss it. So if we actually sit there and write it down, it gives us a chance to get clear on what it is that we're pulling and then get clear on what messages are coming through. And so that's really helpful. And so I highly recommend if you do start on a tarot journey, just start writing it down, the messages you get. You don't even have to go back and read them again later. I barely do. It's more just the act of actually writing it out gets you a step farther than just that initial thought that you have in your head about what the card could mean or how it could relate to the things. And then I think I said it as we were talking about that. If you want to get clearer readings, you need to actually ask a question. Otherwise, it can be just really broad, and then you don't know what that card is actually related to. Because the thing is, each card has so many symbols on it, it can mean so many things. And if we just pull, we don't always know why. We don't always know what it's in connection to. So I highly recommend writing out what it is that you are looking for guidance on when you go to write out your messages. So that is your quick and dirty on what is tarot and how you can start kind of learning it. If you'd like to join me on my Patreon, I would love to have you there. I have multiple levels of tiers, and I cannot wait to hear about your tarot journey. Good luck. Bye for now.